They can use them in adventure mode, though. Okay. So, as a reminder, this is a crowdfunded channel. I make a living because people throw bits at me, and also subs and gift subs and primes. So if you happen to have a prime sub, do think about me. But we're going to dive into this laggy fort and deal with it. I thought they disabled that. Did they not? Or maybe it's because I used it. No, I've made many a pet or many a burial, and dwarven ones are enabled by default, and pets are disabled by default. But they will make... What's it called? They will also assign tombs to dwarves that have already been memorialized and their bodies don't exist, which is kind of annoying. All right, so this fort is a bit of a mess, and there isn't much I can do about it right now, unfortunately. I'm working on fixing this. So let's first read through the dwarves that are named in the fort. The dwarves that are currently in the fort whomst are named are a lost intern, Arga, Ba, Brokoid, Bully, Clone Doll, Christopher, Darius, Dominoc, Dord Farquaad, who's been in prison for a while, which is kind of hysterical, Faminoir, as well as 409, Frosty Noodle, Greenleaf, McYeet, Gerd, Hen Cossack, and Ice, as well as Joe Bart, Dwarf Cop, and Judosi, as well as Carl, Concy McSpuds, and Lady K, as well as Lord Dr. Nubs, and Laya, Madame Pestilence, and Mark. Oh, hi, Mark, unrelated to Mark. Oop, which was, you know, they're just there still. Oversized Red, and Pain Cleric, who was the most pissed off dwarf in the fort at one point and isn't anymore, which is cool. As well as Phelps, aka Michael, and we have Pilot, Port 3 and 5, Rock Mine Enough, which might be my favorite name in the fortress, Rock Mine Enough, as well as Rolf and Shinobi and Stinker and Storm and Swiftwing and Synthetic Catgirl and the best one and Top Hat and Viking Ball, Virtue Virus, and Vlad, William, Wolfie, and Exarius. When did you get in there? When you redeemed it? Yesterday? Also, you're a Stoffa. It's good to see you. And Reinhardt would like any dwarf. Okay, we'll do dwarf with beard, if that's what you want. Unless you don't want dwarf with beard. What's your request? What is your name? What is your quest? What is your favorite color? It's okay. Mine does too. I don't remember what I was talking about 3 minutes ago. Actually, that's not true. Beard's cool. Okay. Stinthad is you. Stinthad is he. YouTube folks, the first person to put a YouTube folks, the first person to put a I don't know, 3 wave emojis can have a I can type. My keyboard was like a centimeter too far to the left. Anyway, Reinhardt is in a constant state of internal rage, often is filled with joy, and finds helping others very emotionally rewarding. He is swayed by emotional appeals, is moved by art and natural beauty. He is troubled by this since he dislikes the natural world. He takes offered help and gifts, of course, without feeling particularly grateful, and often feels discouraged. He's not particularly interested in what others think of him. He tries to keep his things orderly, and he taps his feet constantly. He's nervous. He needs alcohol to get through the working day and does not mind being outdoors at least for a time and doesn't really care about anything anymore. He dreams of creating a great work of art and personally views those that fail to maintain it, and personally is deeply offended by those that fail to maintain it. He greatly respects individuals that persevere through their trials and labors and has a great deal of respect for worthy craftsmanship. He treasures leisure time and thinks that it is very important in life and believes that the time taken to master skill is a horrible waste. Values peace over war and does not really value skills related to fighting. He's creating a great work of art. He likes nickel as well as silver and tapazolite and maces and querns and honey badger men. Yes, for their tenacity and the words of the fatal death and the sight of the aquamarine of roughness when possible he prefers to consume quinoa beer and blueberries, and he absolutely hates snails. Rotten, thank you very much for the 12 months, the whole year. Elfie Bean, what kind of dwarf would you like? Because Elfie Bean won by kind of a mile. Happiest beardless, gotcha. You are now the broker. You have a baby named Reg. And your husband, I presume, your spouse, is Justus. Justus be the one. Anyway, she can be very happy and optimistic and enjoys being in crowds, is assertive and tries to get things done doesn't try to get things done perfectly. She tends to be a bit stubborn in changing her mind about things, and she prefers to present herself modestly. She's brave in the face of imminent danger, and she can handle stress. She has a greedy streak, and she tends to be a little tight with resources when working on projects. She finds obligations confining, though she is conflicted by this for more than one reason. She prefers that everyone lives as harmoniously as possible, and she generally is quite confident of her abilities when undertaking specific ventures. She becomes very rigid when she's angry, and she needs alcohol to get through the working day. And, yeah. Seems to be it. Because you played Mecha Chameleon last night while and it certainly was something that made your friends laugh themselves to tears. I believe it. Yeah, I mean, it's another prop hunt, right? That's always fun. I'm just gonna do a quick save. The Vault of Kittens that we definitely have. All right, so we're going to do a quick run-through diagnostics of the fortress, and today's plan is going to be unfuck the frames, if possible. Not to be confused with unfuck the world. One of these things is possible. The other one is making my frame rate better, it seems. We'll be loyal to whoever values loyalty the most. I mean, hey. Raise all the elven towns. Unfuck the world. Does anybody know what I say? What I'm talking about when I say unfuck the world? It's a song by the supergroup The Prophets of Rage, which is like Rage Against the Machine, Cypress Hill, and Audio Slave. Yeah, that sounds right. And like they're somebody random. But they have a song called Unfuck the World. So now that I've saved, let's just run through diagnostics. Okay, so pets and livestock, first off. This is everything in the fortress. Like, I can't scroll. This is everything. There's one baby carp left. The rest of them are all dead. We are damming the river into eternal draination, which will take a little bit. This right here is running. Sweet. This is currently shut off. Sweet. For other animals... Oh shit, we've actually got agitated stuff now. There is the Dwarflas, which are all down here. But, well, that's interesting. I'm going to see what you're... Okay, everybody's injured and further stuff. I'm going to make sure that everybody's locked inside, since we actually do have agitated stuff. There. There. Rid of that. Something random there that I'm missing? Nope. Okay. Get rid of all that, unless I need it. Over to here, grab this. And just close this. Don't need that open no more. Do the storks get hit by the knife rain? I would assume so. I mean, everything seems to get hit by it. But 45 frames a second is still, like, significantly better than I had yesterday. You know, I'm going to test something. And I'll quick save first. So what is this knife rain? If you're caught out in the rain causes severe bruising and bleeding. It hasn't killed anybody that I know of yet. Best Eater Spesty, thank you very much for gifting out a membership to Tactical Taco in the YouTube chat. Chat and Twitch chat. YouTube chat and Twitch chat. Can I get a round of beers? Thank you very much. It's great. We've been saying knife rain or like big hail. It's called malodorous ooze. I think, no, malodorous sludge, malodorous goop, I'll check once it's done saving. Okay, so the first thing I'm gonna try is retrieve, fix retrieve units. And then the second thing I'm going to do is exterminate. What is it? Bird, stork, giant? No, it's giant white stork. Giant, oops, underscore white, underscore stork. And Forgotten Beast is named Chateau. It's in the Chateau of Me has arrived. An enormous eyeless theropod. It has green, large mandibles, and it squirms and fidgets. Its pink feathers, pink, ooh, pretty, are long and narrow. Beware its deadly spit. It's a labyrinth of auras. It's definitely an aura farmer. I mean, with its pale pinks, with its pale pink feathers, I mean, it's absolutely. This is foreshadowing. That's what that is. I'm also in the process of preparing to fight a bunch of beasts, but that just hasn't happened yet. So, I was about to say, why is my frame rate better? But, you know, something else that I haven't tried yet that we should do. I should go explore the caverns. Like, we should just go reclaim the caverns and figure out if there's anything fucked up in the caverns. What do you think, chat? Any complaints about, like, resurfacing the caverns and figuring out, like, what the hell is happening on that side of things? Because there is a non-zero chance that that is causing something. Have I traded with you yet? No, I have not. Tarn hasn't said anything in specific about anything that you're asking about, Vailwin. I don't even know what... Oh, I always read them as caravan civs. Cavern civs. Yeah, once they're remade. But they have to be remade first. And we don't know. Maybe that's in the and more, maybe it's not. But we don't have any confirmations as to when anything is coming except for the Dino update. You blame the rat people? I mean, that'd be cool. If there were rat people to blame. I mean, I'm not that bothered by the frames. I'm just mostly annoyed that, like, it was totally fine off-stream. That's what I'm annoyed about. If it wasn't totally fine off-stream, I kind of wouldn't give a shit. And so thus I'm a little bit perplexed and miffed. Let's trade with... Okay, so we have already traded with them. Those are the other dwarves. I traded with... you? Yes, we have also traded with you. Well, I brought some additional stuff, so let's just see if I can trade for some fabrics. Fabrics and maybe some meats as well. A bit of food variety. Also those plump helmets, because make things easier for me. Done. Okay. Now that I've done that, let's go to the caverns. There's mods for just about anything -folk that you could think of. And, I really wish I was more enthusiastic about mods, because I do kind of feel like I'm being a bummer. But, like, you need to do more than just add a different skin for me to be excited about a mod for a different faction. I think I actually know depending on which rat folk mod you're talking about, I think I know who made it. That's a bad number of fish, but yeah, it's a lot of fish. That is true. That part is true. All right, so down here, now that I've removed this from the burrow, I need a round of beers for good luck, chat. Or, I don't know, or not, actually. Doesn't really matter, it's up to you. But if you have it in your heart, post beers. Oh yeah, no, that's my shield wall. Let's see. There's currently just this thick boy visible. Just the one we are aware of, yeah. Although 40 frames a second is still 20 better frames per second than we were getting yesterday, so... honestly, I'll take it. It begins. Okay, so what are you? You are the ugly. You are a deadly dust, quadruped composed of zinc. All right, so we've got our first beast. Let's hope my Mark's Dwarf's aim is not shit. Because they're going to be the only things that'll be able to kill this thing. Bolts are flying. Many bolts are flying. Many bolts are missing. They're having to thread a lot of needles. Flying steel bolt strikes it in the lower body, fracturing it. The wrestler strikes it in the body with a steel shield. Okay, well, at least they're fracturing it with the steel shields. I was kind of hoping this thing would be dead by this point, but it's not. It has killed 1, 2, 3 Forgotten Beasts, though. I guess it's like the king of the caverns, if you will. Get him, Fami Noir. More bolts are flying. Bolts flying literally fucking everywhere. Literally just lost its ability to stand. A lot of fractured bones. I think the dwarves are all off to go get more ammo, most likely. Or they're all out of ammo. Well, that's not good. Why don't we bring out the other squad? Oh, you still got ammo. That's good. What's your... seriously injured? Not good. Hope they can get it onto the ground. Like, it can't stand, but that's not a huge deal for it. Maybe I should have set up bolt throwers, because I'm seeing blood. Oh, that's a dead dwarf. Oh, okay, wrestler's been found dead. Anything hitting it? Jumps away. Well, that's not good. 2026? No, it's definitely 275. 2nd of Sandstone. The date's right there. You can just read it. Omald. I was pretty convinced that bolts would kill this thing. The good news is, however, these dwarves are getting really good at other combat skill, at additional combat. By that I mean miscellaneous object users. The problem is my Mark's dwarves are out of bolts. Bars, 182. Steel. Okay, I should have just made more. Steel bolts. This is going to be tricky. Hey, chat. We are currently fighting with a creature that could kill my entire military. At least pretend to be excited, like Nomald is. Thanks for the $5, Nomald. Going to move the military back inside. And I'm going to queue up a wall. And I'm going to put this back into the burrow. I hope that they can get here in time. I should have put a bridge in. I didn't think that thing would be so tough. Okay, well, we got some heroes. Go get him, Greenleaf. There you go. Also didn't think this thing was still alive because I hadn't seen it in a while. Ground beast with deadly dust. Yeah, it doesn't seem to be super deadly, though. Only a handful of dwarves have actually died. 3. Bubble Page, thanks for the 40 months with Prime. Dwarf Hammer 40k and off to lurk. Wait, you're playing Warhammer 40k? Or are you saying that this creature made of zinc is like Warhammer 40k? Not sure what that means. Wrestler is propelled away by the blow. Weapons and ammunition. Steel. Bolt. Yeah, you don't have more ammo. Best one's been found dead. Trying to lock these doors. Be one, probably. You know, it sucks for Lycott down here, but Lycott's a hero. Come on. How the fuck did a sheep get down here? Okay, it's sealed off. Huh! Sorry, Doran. Bad news. Okay, well, I need my dwarves to go get more ammo, like, now. That's something that we need to do. Hey, chat, can I get a big round of Fs for those that didn't make it, and a bigger round of Fs for those who survived? Because that is going to go down in Dwarven history. Lost nobody from this squad. I lost 1 Mark's Dwarf. And 5, I think, from this squad? Seems right. I think we're at 175. I don't think I have the stuff to make a second metalsmith, but maybe I should. Furniture. Second anvil. Nope, it's not furniture. Where? What section of this? Mature siege equipment as other objects? There you go. Slow acting deadly dust striking soon? It doesn't seem like it. They're all just going for showers. I mean, they're still covered in it. Why do you have to predict the nightmares? Be like, I think it's bad now. It's going to be significantly worse in a moment. I'm like, you don't have to say that. Probably better than you, Filthy Mike, because you haven't showered yet. Pissed off. Not indifferent. How deadly can this dust be? It could cause spontaneous bleeding to death, or like not do much of note. It could cause like mild sleepiness. It could be like anywhere from mildly annoying to insta death, as far as deadly dust goes. Oh. I still just have a bunch of dwarves over here. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back down to the cavern lair. Right here. I'll place a door right there. And I'm going to place 2 more wall pieces right here. And I'm going to put this into the burrow. I'm also going to put this into the burrow. It's good to see you, DB. And also, let's put all this back into the burrow right here so we can go rescue these dwarves. And the beast is over here, who's currently chasing a good few of my dwarves. How's the Mark's dwarves doing? Not quite there yet. More dwarves are going to be found out, I think. I feel like that's going to be the prioritas operandi for many people. EB Explorer? Recently started playing Dwarf Fortress, and your videos literally are literally all you watch to understand what you're doing. Happy to help, dude. Happy to help. Well, good news is the population hasn't dropped. I actually don't think this Forgotten Beast's ability is that strong. It's just a fucking tank is the issue. It just seems to be an absolute fucking tank. Okay, another dwarf's been missing. A dwarf's been missing for a week, but there isn't too much I can say about that. Okay, I now need a dwarf to destroy this building. Move construction. get bored and wander off map? No, they can't. They can only wander off map once they've entered the map if the player retires the fort. So they cannot wander off map. Not sure what Necrunter is saying. Oh, come on. Here come the Moldogs, which are just gonna get, like, weapon trapped to death. That is a lot of Moldogs. One of my dwarves was found dead, so was Top Hat. Wouldn't it be funny if it was Moldogs? That was the thing that was hurting the frames? Bang. There goes another one. Top Hat, you were found dead. You died in the caverns while trying to fight a forgotten beast, which is about to come into the fort. Which I'm not going to let enter the fort just yet. I will let it enter the fort, just not just yet. I could... Any dwarf not picky? Got it, alter ego. Looks hungry? It's metally, actually. Depth Sucker the Ugly is its name. Okay, what if I... do this? I'm going to just catch it. What I'm going to do. Alter ego. You just want any dwarf, not picky. Okay. Well, I mean, it is your alter ego, right? You get Onul the Gen Cutter. Alter Ego 101. Rope Bucks. Dwarfy Rope Bucks. Honestly, the dwarf with the last name Bucks makes a lot of sense because you're a gem cutter, right? We're currently in an ad break. I will wait until the ads are done. Nomald, thanks for the additional $2 in bits. By the way, it's a lot harder for me to notice the on-screen It's hardest for me to notice the on-screen celebrations because I don't see them at all. So they just pop up in my notices. So unless I'm looking at my notifications, I miss them. Now it makes me wonder, could I name a dwarf Big Bucks? Chad, if we ever do like a... If we ever do a like wealth-based fortress, it needs to be called like Big Wealth or Big Bucks or Big Buck. The Fortress of Biggie's Bucks. Oh, I'm just out of... Just do 10 iron crossbows. No, we'll just do a wooden crossbow. Big bucks, no whammies. Yes, no, absolutely. All right, so... Alter is up here and is a gem cutter. Not to be confused with Walter Ego. He often feels filled with joy, feels strong urges, seeks short-term rewards, and desires little for himself in the way of possessions. He has a noticeable lack of perseverance, and he has a tenuous emotional and he tends to form only tenuous emotional bonds with others. He's somewhat quarrelsome, and he is conflicted by this for more than one reason. He generally is quite confident of his abilities when undertaking specific ventures, and he is brave in the face of imminent danger. He tends to ask others for help with difficult decisions, and he tends to consider what others think of him. He does not have a great aesthetic sensitivity, and he is conflicted by this as he values artwork and its creation. He needs alcohol to get through the working day. He dreams of creating a great work of art, personally values a harmonious existence, finds the pursuit of skill mastery off-putting, values peace over war, and doesn't see the point of working hard. He likes talc, lead, yellow jasper, sheep wool, toy axes, donkeys for their stubbornness, aquamarine, the sight of the aquamarine roughness, and when possible prefers to consume alfalfa, longland beer, and absolutely hates moon snails. You worship Anor Fokash Akig, which I think is the god of wealth and misery? Yes. And, it seems to be everything. Walls out of gold type 4. Yeah. Let's go to that door for digging. Hello, Linku. Hope you're doing well. I don't know if I ever told you this, Linku, but I used to play RuneScape with somebody named Linku in, like, 2008. Although it was Linku with a bunch of different numbers. It was Linku hyphen bunch of numbers. So if that was you, hi. I don't know why that just popped into my brain, but I think about it sometimes when I see you in chat. Wasn't somebody I knew in real life. It was just some person I met while fishing. Just somebody I met while fishing is like the most fucking RuneScape thing you could ever say. Because they need a place next to it to stand in order to build a thing. There we go. Also, I'm going to just let that run. I'm going to go over here. This can be for Top Hat. This can be for Light Test. These are just going to be tombs all the way around. Which means I'll need a door into here somehow. Maybe a door right there. No, actually that won't work. Let's go. Let's just screw it. Just get rid of all this. Except for this last one. I'll figure it out. Now that it's been in the game for a little bit, unless you're playing RuneScape 1 at 1 years old, you're talented. That's all I'm saying. Now that it's been in the game for a little bit, how do we feel about different materials taking different amounts of time to mine through? I still think adamantine takes too long, personally. Like, I feel like adamantine you should be able to mine through really quickly, but... When will there be the next adventure mode DF? When they update it. There has been one minor update to adventure... Well, maybe not minor. Major update to adventure mode since I last did a long adventure mode run, and that was the one that makes range combat viable, but I don't think that's interesting for me gameplay-wise. So I personally don't actually care that much about using a crossbow in adventure mode. I will do adventure mode when adventure mode is interesting, and right now I feel like I say this a lot about roguelikes in general, and I feel bad because I fucking love roguelikes, but they're hard to stream because I have to explain why it's interesting. Fort mode, I already have to kind of do that, but not as much. And adventure mode is very static. If you've played a lot of it, you might know this. Like, there isn't a lot going on, and you really have to roleplay and make your own fun. And that's not too difficult to do when you're playing by yourself, but if you're playing with an audience of people watching, it's not very engaging for the audience. And I don't play much adventure mode on stream because like a third of the people tune out immediately. Another third tune out pretty quickly as the run goes on. And then people ask when Fort mode's coming back. And I make significantly less money, and it just feels like I'm wasting my time. It's not a good representation of the game in the long form. I will do a run from here and there that will last 30 minutes just to prepare for a fort, but I'm not going to do any long-term runs until there's enough patches and changes to it being an interesting viewing experience. Dwarf Farquaad is throwing a tantrum. Nothing new there. Do you guys like me having the tantruming notices? Those are like enabled. That's a new thing for me to have enabled. I think they've been kind of funny so far, so. But like, if you want to like see the last big run I did one where I played as a human and I went from 0 skills to legendary skills so that I could kill some of my own vampires in a fortress, and I did that like over a year ago now, and there hasn't been major changes mechanically to adventure mode. And prompts you to arrest the tantrum. Yeah. It's just funny that it's fucking Farquaad who's tantruming. It's like maybe the game like picked the best comedy bit for that. That's for sure. Sure, but like, do you understand like where I'm coming from with it being like not the greatest like streaming experience our lives? Like, does that make sense? Having watched a bunch of it, especially. Also, kiddo, can you please move? I think he's locked up. Actually, no. Currently, he's in hospital. Actually, I don't think he started any fights. Otherwise, she would have gone to prison. Swiftwing's gonna go crack into the caves again. What's my population cap at? 180. I turned it down because of the low frame rate. I normally keep it at 220 to 250, depending on the fort. All right, kiddo, I need you to leave. Kiddo, I think you should leave. Kiddo, please. Duder, come on. All right, now we play the game of let's wait until this child leaves. And while we're waiting for this child to leave, I'm going to set up a thing that would potentially allow us to, well, maybe not right there, that would potentially allow us to kill this beast, potentially? Potentially. I think I've made a list of things in the past. I think for me to stream adventure mode frequently for more than like an hour at a time, I would need random citizens and civilians in cities to have some sort of behavioral patterns other than I stand in the place where I work forever. So they would need to move and do things. Even if that means, like, go to the market for an hour, go to your workplace for 6 hours, go to bed and sleep. Like, they need to do something. Turning in quests needs to be more doable. And there needs to be some sort of building or crafting or, like, way to have a more material impact on the world. By material, I mean, like, making changes to the landscape. So, like, if I could dig holes and refill holes, cool. If I could craft items that weren't just bone trinkets, cool. If I could claim a location on the map that actually make that do something, cool. If sieges were a bit more, like if armies moving around was a bit more dynamic, like any one of those things would make me play adventure mode more. But because, like, none of those things are in the game, it really is just I mean, I could play more of it, but it's kind of a, not really a lost cause, but just a bit uninteresting, really. Where are the stairs here? They're over there. Good news is the kid moved, so I can lock this now. And turn off the dwarves so that they can go back to whatever they were doing. Check my marks dwarves and see how their ammo's doing. The two who lost their crossbows in the caves can go get new crossbows. Or item in stockpile, item inaccessible. Yeah, that makes sense. Let's just make this entire stairway in burrow again. Also gonna go to you. Say, where do you go down to? You go down to here. I'm going to dig this over to here. Actually, you know what? Why not, instead of doing that, I just make this go down. I'm glad you guys are enjoying this fort, though, as a stopgap fort. Because I've mentioned this a couple times, like, whenever a big patch is announced for a thing, I suddenly have less inspiration to play the game and just want the patch. It's like a impatience problem I have. Probably pretty relatable, I would guess. We'll do something else with that. Or a murder to find people in for you? Yeah, I mean, like, Caves of Cut has a feature where you hit backspace and it tells you everybody in the region. The problem is, it's like locating an individual in adventure mode is just not impossible, but very difficult just by design. Because unless you have like a notepad and you know approximately where you found them and you write down exactly who they were, you'll just never find them again. Like, it's almost impossible to re-find people. Does Deadly Dust go up Z levels? Yeah, it does. Which is why I'm putting this in, and I'm going to attach it to a lever so that I can just close this off, basically. And just closing it off will do what I need it to do, basically. Dwarf's just moving all these boulders off of it. And I'm also going to go hatch. Or a hatch on this. And I'm actually just going to lock this. Just make them use the other route. which is going to be over here. What does the red bar at the top of the fast travel screen mean? That's like in adventure mode. That's the time of day indicator. So if it's entirely red, that means it's sundown. If it's blue, that means it's clear blue sky. If it's black, it means it's night. This should be done. Yeah, it is. Perfect. Now they can just use this. And time of day is quite important in adventure mode, but basically like what I like to kind of explain to people, I guess, when it comes to adventure mode is historically Dwarf Fortress it has always been the mode that has had the majority of the interest from the player base. Because of the way adventure mode is built as a traditional roguelike, there is a portion of the player base that refuses to interact with it or acknowledge it. Adventure mode. And that generally ends in just some people will never interact with it. And because they will just never interact with it, if there is a large patch for adventure mode, then there will always be some people who pop up and go, but not fort mode, not interested. And that was the case back in the day, less so. But as time has gone on, that's become more and more and more of a thing. And like I don't see them very often, but even in my comment sections on YouTube, I'll see the occasional person who's just like, they should just get rid of adventure mode. Like that it shouldn't be in the game kind of thing. Like this is just wasted development time is like the feeling of a portion of the player base, which I think is ludicrous. And I think it's extremely unfortunate, but I do think it is the reality of traditional roguelikes and turn-based RPGs like that, where unless your name is Baldur's Gate, people like just won't even give you the time of day. And I do honestly think that sucks. But it results in a game where adventure mode is like the engine for the game that's accessible to the player, and fortress mode is the mode that people gravitate towards and play primarily. So the result is it just makes sense for them to spend more time developing fort mode because it pays the bills and it's what the majority of the player base is looking for anyway. And so adventure mode has, I think, had a backseat for the last decade. I mean, I'd be willing to bet that... Oh, another dwarf is throwing a tantrum. I'd be willing to bet that a large, maybe not majority, but large portion of the Steam player base has never played adventure mode either. So I don't think that that's surprising. Which is actually one of the reasons why I'm very bummed out and will remain bummed out about the fact that it took as long... Ooh, who'd you beat up? Animal trainer? Huh. Go for Geshud. Why I'm just like forever mildly annoyed that... I actually just expel this dwarf. Unless you start a... Oh, there you go. Crimes! Excellent. That's what we want to see. All of the report crimes. Report this criminal to the authorities. We must alert the authorities, dwarf. This is... And Farquaad's helping too. Good. I think just the reality is like, you know, people always like to remind me that Dwarf Fortress is a niche game, so it'll never be a huge popular mainstream thing. I don't fully agree with that, but there is one part that I do agree with, and I do agree that adventure mode is a very niche game and will never have a mainstream audience. Just because of how people react to it. They wouldn't react to it that way if it wasn't like that. No, that's the thing, though, is it's not. It's not being developed. There was one adventure mode or one fortress mode update that had a major effect on adventure mode. So there was a little bit of adventure mode since it released, but it's not being developed. Well, I mean, It hasn't been added to in any major patches. It might be getting developed, but nothing has manifested in stuff for adventure mode since adventure mode released, which was what? April last year? Yeah. It's because it's not really a game citation number, adventure mode. It's like, it's an exploration tool. You know, it's sort of like saying, you know, I played adventure mode and I was confused as hell. I mean, it's like saying I played like Space Engine and I was confused as hell. It's like, well, yeah, because it's software. And that's almost what adventure mode is. Not quite. That's being a bit reductive, but this is the sequel, Filthy Mike. I know that 80% of what you say is a troll, so I don't really take you seriously. But this is the sequel. This is a sequel to Slaves to Armok, God of Blood, clearly. Well, more technically a spinoff, but technically a sequel still. Because it used to be Slaves to Armok Chapter 2. Slaves to Armok, God of Blood, Chapter 2, Dwarf Fortress. You don't mind the concept is what you mean? Totally. I think what adventure mode needs, straight up, it needs to be a more seamless crossover between Fortress mode and adventure mode, which Tarn has said over the past year that they are exploring options on how they can integrate adventure mode gameplay into Fortress mode more smoothly. Like, if you could do the Dungeon Keeper thing where you click a button and click a button and just play adventure mode for a minute, my god, I would do that in every siege. Every fucking siege, I would do that. Every single one of them. So, get this yanked, and then we can let this beast in and trap it. And then go get the bodies. All right, chat. Hold on to your butts. It's time to catch a beast. And I don't know where it is. There's also a carp that's drowning. Unrelated. Watch the beast just like fucking no-show now. Uh-oh. Frame rate just went bye-bye. Back though. Are they leaving somehow? Oh, I see. Also open that. Let's lock you. So that they go this way. The knives are just going to kill all of them one by one. Except for that one, apparently. Still don't see this beast. Oh, it's not dead. If it keeps out of water, it can. Wait, what? Dwarf, what keeps out of water? The main problem you've had with adventure mode is that the performance just tanks on any machine, especially if you visit one of your old forts. Well, yeah. 2 seconds, chat. I'll be right back. Yes, it is. Funny thing about performance in adventure mode is it used to be so much worse. Like, it used to be so much worse. Not to say that it's like good now, because it's not, but like it did used to be so much worse. Oh, there they go. Because like adventure mode used to be like frames per minute in like a very populated region. Now it's like, it still runs like shit, but it is better than it was. Not that that's saying too much, but where the fuck did this beast go? Excuse me, stupid monster. Get your bloody ass out of here. So I can turn you into Swiss cheese, or alternatively, a trapped monster. Rumble. Oh, Christopher, you need to drop your pickaxe. Getting a little bit of lag, and you know, that's probably a good sign. It probably means it's heading towards me. I mean, fish do drown when they're out of water in real life. Although I don't think we generally refer to it as drowning. Oh, there it is. We found him, boys! I realize we're in an ad, so I'll just wait. The Dino Beastie, I think, is dead. I don't think... I think the Zinc Beastie died. Maybe not. No. Actually, the Dino Beastie is a layer further down. The Dino Beastie is a layer further down. Suffocate, not drown. Tomato. What is drowning if not suffocating by overflowing? I think that web-spitting creatures are not overpowered. Asterisk, they'll win. If you use ranged weapons. If you use melee weapons, yes, they do feel overpowered. Dwarf Fortress is a game about having stuff that's just kind of broken, though, and because of the way the game works, you will sometimes end up with unstoppable murder monsters, and that's part of the stories. Like, this is kind of an unstoppable murder monster. Like, look how many steel bolts it has stuck in its head. And I think that is part of the fun. So I don't actually care if some beasts are like ridiculously overpowered, because like, are web spitting beasts overpowered? No, not at all. Especially if you use ranged weapons. But like, is a forgotten beast made of iron that has webs overpowered? Abso-fucking-lutely. But like, I think that's part of the game. Like, sometimes you roll the dice terribly and you're gonna have a legendary unstoppable murder monster, which you spend a whole fort trying to figure out how to kill. And I think that's part of the fun of Dwarf Fortress, personally, Gilwin. GG. Chat. If you disagree with that, that's fine. But that's my take anyway. I think that sometimes if you occasionally get a creature that is literally unkillable, that is part of the game. Don't know what you're doing. I just move them all right there. But they suddenly have an activity to go complete. I'm going to lock this door, and I'm going to unlock this door, and I'm going to leave that unlocked, and I'm going to go, Beast, where are you? I'm going to take one of yous and send you out there. Yous can go inside. It knows, chat. I can't believe I actually need to state this. I am aware that fish don't drown above water. The game in Dwarf Fortress refers to it as drowning, and so I'm arguing in favor of the game, so you can actually me all you like. I don't care. I'm talking about Dwarf Fortress and playing Dwarf Fortress and making jokes and commentating and talking about Dwarf Fortress, and chat's going, actually, drowning is not running out of air underwater. It is out of underwater, and under your refreshing moment. Everything in Dwarf Fortress is flat, too. Like, it's like Paper Mario. You could fit 1,000 things into the same piece of space as long as they're all lying down. So, like... I'm not calling it drowning. The game's calling it drowning. I am simply a voice for the sprites. Also, this is going to be my backseat gamer voice from now on. I'm going to do it like 1 or 2 more times, then I'm going to get tired of it, and then never do it again. Or actually, chat doesn't sound like that. No, obviously chat sounds like, hello, everybody. I am a night shift worker at Denny's, and I've worked there for 47 years, and I chain smoke on my work breaks. Oh, hey, it's coming back. Come on, monster. I know you wanna. I'll have you know, coffee broth. Thank you very much, Laya. I didn't name it. So what I think is even better is Depth Sucker the Ugly. Actually, hold on a second. No, that's Nourish Blocks. Never mind. Like, this isn't a god, is it? On Twitch chat. Is that what you're going with, Laya? I found a plugin once that could like change the pitch of your voice through OBS, and then I like forgot about it and never used it, and had an idea running for a minute there that whenever there was a hype train, the higher the level goes, the higher my voice gets. But I just never did do it. Oh no, absolutely. It keeps the player humble, and it also allows you to. Sometimes you just get frustrated with them, but you mostly agree with me. If you get frustrated with them, trap them in a room and drop a rock on their head, or just cheat and kill them. That's totally fair, getting frustrated with them. But the thing is, like, people often ask me, like, if I think that webs are overpowered, to which my actual response is, webs aren't overpowered, Deadly Dust is. Deadly Dust is significantly more threatening than webs most of the time. Okay, game's now paused. Dwarf's gonna run back inside maybe, or you're gonna forget and then not run back inside. Please don't be a hero. Or be a hero and kill it. That'd be incredible if you did. You're supposed to go the other way, Dwarf. You were the chosen, Dwarf. Okay, let's follow Beastie McGeasty. No. No. Go the other way. Stupid monster. Our Lives, thanks for the 5-pack of gift subs. Appreciate you greatly. What? Oh, it moved. I was like, I look away and I'm like, why is there dust there now? Because the dwarf came back. I told you not to be a hero, Dwarfus. That's dumbest. Okay, Beastie McGee, go through the gate. But our Lives, thank you very much for 5 gift subs. Appreciate you. Thank you very much for helping keep the channel funded. And Eric, thanks for the $1. You had an epidemic once. It killed, is Deadly Dust the one with beast sickness? Deadly Dust can either be, can be epidemic sicknesses, yeah. Especially if they get stuck in piles of snow and they transport by skin infections. Also, Rolf gifted a sub to Lucio, and apparently it's a golden Kappa train, which means you earn an exclusive emote for 24 hours on Twitch. So if you take part right now in the hype train with a Prime sub or whatever, you get access to a golden Kappa. So that's kind of neat, if you care. Oh my god, Dwarf made it. Go, Dwarf! Run, Dwarf! Okay, so it causes blistering. That's not bad. It sucks, and can cause infections, but I think we still have soap, so it should be fine. Oh, come on. You can't possibly be that smart. Huh? Hey! When you done, Diggy done it. Hail Dwarfus. I wonder why. That's bizarre. I would honestly send out I would send them a, what do you call it? Like a request ticket. A ticket for assistance. But it means you can't take part in the hype train, technically. And also, Our Lives, thank you very much for checking out a gift. Currently, it needs 3 subscriptions or $10 or $14 in bits to level up. Just gonna screenshot it and just note that it's happening. On the Discord. The one person who cares. Okay, let's get you opened up here. See if I can get this beast dealt with. That's also a very good opportunity to train a lot of my Marks dwarves. Van Ori, thanks for the 10-pack. Appreciate you. And Dord Farquaad is throwing yet another tantrum. I have some dwarves I can arrest. Are they not close enough? Is that the issue? Yeah, oh, it's dead. Did you get it? Holy shit, you did. Flying steel bolt strikes it in the head. The severed part sails off in an arc. We did it. The zinc. What a champion. Fancy train indeed. Currently it needs 4 subscriptions to level up. If you have a Prime or a resub or a dollar in bits, you could get yourself a golden kappa. I don't even think you need $1. A bit. Enough bits to take part. Get yourself a golden kappa. Also, if you can please let me know about the necromancy and adventure mode. There's nothing to let you know. You read a book, you get necromancy. Like, I'm not gonna like sit here and just explain adventure mode really. 1, because this isn't an adventure mode stream currently, and 2, because like there's nothing to explain. You just go to a necromancer tower, you find a book, you read it, or you find a slab, you read it. And then you can res things, and the things that you res don't attack you because they're undead. Like there's literally nothing else to explain. Like, what do you want me to explain? And if you said that you watched that video, well, in that video I do that, so. Can't raise animals or body parts. That's not true. You can raise either of those. You can't raise things that are mangled. It's exactly the same as Fortress mode. It's literally like the same game as Fortress mode. So like I'm not entirely sure what you're looking for me to tell you, because I've got a hype train that I'm trying to deal with and a fortress. So Forgotten Beasts can't climb through battlements. They could knock themselves through the battlements, but they are very large. I mean, dwarves can't climb through them. They can jump through them. And it depends on the corpse. Exactly. Like, it's whether or not they're mangled. Like, I don't... Anyway, this is... Sorry, I'm being a dick. I'm flustered at the moment. A lot of things happening. Hey, chat, can I get a round of beers? For not asking me about adventure mode. Please. This is a disgusting mess. It's a golden kappa train, correct, Shadow. You could get a golden kappa for 24 hours if you cheer bits or gift sub or resub. Why in the world would I take pills for my hair? No, I use like L'Oreal Men's Expert because I like the way it smells and it doesn't give me dandruff problems. That's it. I use conditioner like once a week, and I wash it like twice a week. And apparently I'm getting a phone call. Just in case there wasn't enough things happening today. I'm not gonna lie, I'm pretty done with today already. Pretty done with today. Longtime YouTube fan. Saw you YouTube stream and checked out the Twitch. And does this fortress have a theme? Not really. Currently the theme is try to figure out why the frame rate's at 40 and not 60, where it's supposed to be. And try and keep the fortress stable. But mostly just waiting for the next update is what this fortress is. How are we doing bedrooms-wise? Pretty fucking shit. How about we make bedrooms for a bit? Let's play make bedrooms game. That's best game for the minute. I just make bedrooms. Raging Cave, thanks for the 5-pack. Darius, thanks for the 5-pack. Our Lives, thanks for the 5-pack. I don't know, man. You have to drink a real beer. I mean, please drink responsibly. Know your limit and sip within it. Don't give yourself a hangover. Please and thank you. Very important. I really hope that today is nicer to me. I mean, you guys are being very nice to me, but the day itself is not being very nice to me. So thank you, chat. You can't join the tribes. You'll lose your job at the new year because of a stupid local government regulations. No, it's totally fine. Please don't apologize for not giving me money. That is a silly thing to apologize for. Please unsubscribe to me if you are like expecting financial hardship, because like I am disposable entertainment that will probably still be here. I say probably, in a year. Your income is what keeps you able to be here. So please take care of yourself accordingly. Will the dwarfs care if others pass through their bedrooms? No. The only thing they care about is noise when they're sleeping. So they don't like if you're mining right next to their bedroom, because that is the only thing that really creates noise. Indoor Fortress? Workshops used to, but that got patched out ages ago for this exact reason. Basically made the game like difficult to play, and now the way the game works, like most fortresses would be unlivable if the noise code was still in. So it's what causes agitation and stuff. Noise. But thank you very much for the hype train. It needs 5 more subscriptions to level up again, or $25 in bits. But regardless, that's a level 6 hype train. That's crazy. So it's also been a while since I've had like a golden or a fancy train, because there's a couple different kinds of fancy trains now. So I don't think damming the river really helped the frame rate. So that kind of sucks. Yeah, that's one of those things that I have to constantly point out to people isn't currently in the game in regards to workshop noise. It kind of sucks that that's the case, but it is. Mining out all of this limestone. If the fish is what was taking my frame rate, none of my fortresses would ever be above 30 frames a second. You need to remember that my last fortress, the Dragon Fortress, had like 60,000 cooked meals at one point. Trust me, it's not the fish. Like, I do understand the like desire to try and help, but here, let me do some things that might actually give us some indicator. Turned off weather and temperature. Still the same. Fixed stable temp. Yeah, that kind of gave me 4 frames, not much. Thank you very much for the level 7 hype train with the 33 gifts and $2 in bits. You guys are very kind. And enjoy your golden kappas. Eight tiles of noise. Eating was like 4 tiles of noise. That means dwarves eat almost as loud as a pickaxe mines through rock. Dwarves eat really loudly. Lots of lip smacking, I guess. But yeah, that's one of those perpetually out-of-date pieces of advice when it comes to Dwarf Fortress gameplay is like noise. Noise and cave-ins are the two that always confuse people because you just read one out-of-date piece of information and have a totally wrong idea of how the game works. You learned that from the Hobbit movie? It helps with digestion. You know, hold on. Let me actually do something real quick. You. My hospital, you. Yeah, so it's not the machines and it's not the water because all of this is draining out now. So probably what we're gonna do is build a drawbridge there and a drawbridge up here. There it is. And a drawbridge up here. And just have control of the flow. It's probably the way we're gonna do this. It's the only way that really makes sense. And you are in a strange mood. You've got gems, quarry, skeletons. You missed the golden Kappa hype train, Orange. Okay, so now that you're powered, I can unforbid this too. You go down to here. They're connected there. You go all the way down through here. Connected there. So this can now be shut off. And this can be removed. Because that's what Bilbo Baggins hates? It would probably be what I hate too. I mean, of course you would have to show yourself out. You would never remember where the exit is, Orange. I need to knock out this. So chat, what are you guys up to this weekend? I have to get my passport renewed. That's the most interesting thing I think I'm going to be doing this weekend that you guys will see. Hopefully getting some sort of Future of the Fortress up and running and out and ready so that some people can see that in a reasonable-ish amount of time. I've got a secret project that hasn't been announced yet, which, I don't know, might be exciting for some. Cool. You can get shut off. You can keep going. Done a lot of waiting. You're doing a bunch of drafting work? Can you define drafting work for us plebs who don't know what drafting work is? So Dort is out of prison. Imush is in prison. We've also got this goblin in prison. Or should probably just beat to death at some point. This is some, like, if I keep getting visitors, like, that's perplexing. I wonder. Yeah, no, like, nothing is assisting. Like, I kind of figured turning off weather would do it, but, like, it didn't. And also, the weather is kind of what makes this map interesting, so I don't want to, just turn off weather. I don't know. That seems like a waste, if you ask me. Okay, so let's set up some tombs. One of these is an artifact. Although I don't think they get these automatically assigned until Coffin's actually there. Are working on the game you're making? Gotcha. We're preparing blueprints for a home that your dad and yours are involved in building. Well, that's cool. Okay, hold up. What? How did... Oh. Okay. Well, that explains a lot. I was like, how did that minecart end up there? Because I wasn't watching. Well, let's just shut this off for the time being. And I will put this here, which is just going to have a window there. It's kind of funny that they just went flying, though. I didn't think they'd be going fast enough there to get derailed, but we are. Ad break. We'll pause. Yeah, but here's the thing, Tartine. One, you're probably in an ad break, so you're probably not hearing it. But two, if it was a single dwarf wrecking my frame rate, then my frame rate would have still been low when I loaded the game when I wasn't streaming. Okay? Like, I understand all of the desires to try and help and point out, like, things that you think might be causing the issue. But let me just be direct with you. This wouldn't be an issue. I know I just made the game not screen, but this wasn't an issue when I wasn't streaming. If it was an issue, then potentially what you're suggesting is correct. But because it wasn't, it's not a dwarf that's stuck. There isn't one dwarf that's causing this frame rate. Because it would have continued when I wasn't streaming, but it didn't. So because of that, it is not possible that that is the case. Bars in Nanaimo. I mean, I've never been to a bar in Nanaimo. I've had Nanaimo bars, but I think those are unrelated for some reason. You know, the worst part about tech support is getting a bunch of third-party tech support when you're streaming. Because I understand that you all just want to help, and I appreciate that you all just want to help. However, the reality is it's almost never helpful because I always have a pretty good idea. It's probably just because I'm streaming. So all I can really do is stop bitching about it and try to talk about anything else. Because otherwise, I'm just going to have to keep reiterating why I know that the thing that you just suggested isn't the cause of it. And that's just going to not be fun to watch for anybody, I don't think. That's up to you to decide. Darishlicht in YouTube chat. I don't know what that is, Shadow. What is that? Dwarves not have a way out at the minute. They should. Suppose they don't. I mean, you haven't paid any price. You don't even have a golden kappa. How do you know what prices should be paid and what shouldn't, Creed? I mean, I'm disabling the pump stack, but it's not the pump stack because we turned off the pump stack already and it didn't affect my frame. See? Disabled. But everything else is running. Maybe I should also just expand the size of the tavern. Give them more space to go. Vibe. How goes overfishing the carps? I don't actually think we're catching carps because carps aren't vermin fish. Carps are bigger than vermin. So they're not considered catchable in this case. Like, they're huntable. You have to hunt carp. You don't fish carp. What up, dwarves? You know, eternal despair, depression, sadness, annoyance, bothersomes, existence, etc. The huge. But yourself, Greg, and then some? You're doing your lunch? What you doing for lunch? Well, that's good that the shitty period's done. I was gonna say most breweries. If music is so nice now, Did I try burning the fort down and building it back? I haven't tried that, but I don't really have a source of fire. Okay, something I'm gonna try and do. Delete this. Delete this. So the dirt layer here is not an aquifer. Decidedly, in fact. Because it's not an aquifer. Also some area over here that's also not an aquifer. I'm going to go dig into it. Just let my animals graze right here. We're also digging up so that I can place a bridge on the way into the fort. for the river so that I can redirect and re-permit the river into the fort. A new chisel axe. I don't know what that reads like. Chisel axe head. Oh, and axe head. I was reading a chisel axe head. I was like, what's a chisel axe head? Chisel and an axe head. Oh yeah, that's cool. What you forging them out of? Oh. For a second there, I thought the YouTube stream was totally busted. It's not. It's my own replays that were busted. Dumat, the miner, has created Salur Tishen, a limestone millstone. I think that's the third artifact millstone. What the hell? Yeah, see, I got one right there and one right there. The fuck is happening? Why so many millstones? This is confusing to me. Well, actually, okay, that's a quern. That's a millstone. Also, for fun fact, as far as the fish go, I've stopped cooking fish or catching fish for about a year in game. The reason I've done that is because the frame rate did kind of, well, not frame rate, but like supply got so oversupplied that I was like, this is almost no reason to continue doing this. They want to tell you they want a Miller's Guild. No, they don't. Also, Dord Farquaad is stumbling about obliviously, and nobody's going to notice. It's just normal Dord Farquaad. Also keeping an eye on job cancellations. Also going to go back to preparing fish. Making those rock pots. And go over here and throw these doors in. The handful of doors that we've made. A handful of bedrooms. Gonna get all of, whoops, that's not what I wanted. I'm just going to get everything into the fort, and then I'm gonna turn the burrow off for a little bit, and we're gonna clean up the caverns. All right, so far so Dwarf. Progress is being made. Okay, so let's go all the way up to here. Going to add this. Oh. Well, it's a good thing that happened before I dug up the last of that. Chat, a vile force of darkness have arriveth, And it's time for you to use the emote that is appropriate to use when a vile force of darkness has arrived. The army is commanded by the Goblin Uspu, Trench Spider, and in the midwinter of 275, Uspu, Trench Spider, decided to become a baby snatcher, operating in the wilds. Which means we're getting attacked by... You're kind of sus. Oh, shit. Hold up. Criminal! If you're still here after the fight's over, then we'll release you. I'm going to just jump up to the surface and go all the way over to here. And just real quick go, no, 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 don't do that. And I'm going to close this. And I'm going to follow this. And I'm going to send my shield walls into here. We're going to follow the giant earthworm. Oopsies. Earthworm jib. There you go. So the rest of them are all stealthed. It's more like, stop right there, you criminal zomb. What are you doing? You could just... Why can't it rain now? It is. Oh, what? Oh, it broke one of my floors. No, it didn't. Okay. I'm going to arrest this zombie. I'm also going to deconstruct this. Please go beat the criminal. I turned weather back on because it made no change. See, weather. Of course I turned it back on because it made no change. There's just like an entire Spartan shield wall right there, but with just more shields and less spears. I mean, this is the first I'm hearing of it, Joseph, who says the dwarves are begging you to make silver dye. So I guess you are the only dwarf that's begging me to do that. You started playing 2 days ago. You've been a great help with the vids. Happy to help, dude. Any advice that you could give a noob? You will lose forts, and when you do, play the next fort in the same world. I'm just going to interrogate this Limul character. We may actually be trying to leave through the caverns. Yeah, looks like it. There you go. Go catch him. Also going to lock this. But unlock this. So that the dwarves don't have to run through that unless they decide to. I don't think we're going to catch the zombie. Did you see how that zombie just stopped to kill the helmet snake? That's wild. Oh shit. Saf's your niece. Any other relations? Previous dwarves? Murky is also a relative. All right, well, none of that, I guess. Ghostly Miner's risen. Is anybody doing tombs? I would hope so. Looks like it. That's a Forgotten Beast as well. Finally, we're finding the Marks dwarves dead as the ghosts come back, because Top Hat has risen. This one's got Lytast. Very sad start to the fort, but hey, at the very least, all of the dwarves are still alive. And all of the not good dwarves are, and all of the dwarves who weren't good enough to survive the fighting died valiantly by combat. As they bloody well should. Can fortify those later. Two more. Top Hat B. Oh, that's just your tooth. Okay. Okay, so who's still putting stuff into tombs? Zontir is. Life goes on. Yeah. The dwarves will? I mean, some of them will, some of them never will. Usually how that goes. I also need to collect a whole bunch of bolts. It is fun to know that we're getting attacked now, though. That part is exciting. Be aware of. I'm trying to think if it's worth making a fishing dam. Probably not. There they go. Back up. Back up. At least it's not temps. That's something that's nice. It's not weather and it's not temps, because turning those off would fix it. All right, so let's get some additional bedrooms done. And if I go up to here, and I go all the way over to here, This right here can be set to do this. At least on a slightly higher priority. These can all be set to be deconstructed. This can be deconstructed. This down here can be deconstructed. And I will put a drawbridge in there. I'm not sure what you're asking, why not? I've said a lot of things in the last 5 minutes. And so when I look at chat and I say the question is why not? I don't know what you're saying is why not. Because there's too many possible answers to what you could be referring to there. This is one of the problems when chat's a little bit lurky, which it's been on and off over the past month or so. Where when chat gets lurky, I just kind of get into my zone, and then I lose track of what the fuck chat's talking about. The fishing dam? Right. If you want streamer to not get perplexed and forget what he's talking about, keep the chat moving. It's something that you can do for free, unless your boss yells at you, in which case then that's not free. Yay! Top Hat's been laid to rest and is no longer a ghost. I mean, I should hope so, but... this just kind of accentuates the issue. I keep farming throughout the fort. Farming is useful, period, but, like, you don't need to farm ever. But there is nothing in Dwarf Fortress that is only good in early game or only good in late game, with the exception of maybe, like, Adamantine. It's fucking hard to get it unless you're, like, far into a fortress. But no, there really isn't anything in Dwarf Fortress that's, like, only good at one particular portion of the game. It's either good or it's not. And I can tell you with confidence that farming is just useful. It's good to have. What Dwarf Fortress is to him again. Okay, but you have tried. Keep fighting the good fight. Which means you need to sign him up to like a newsletter that just mails him Dwarf Fortress facts once a week into his inbox as soon as you quit that job. It'll work eventually, trust me. It's worth the effort. You'll bring him over to the good side. Just being bombarded with info about it with no context. I mean, that's how YouTube slowly turns people into fans of video games they didn't know they wanted to be a fan of. Because slowly over time, after getting recommended footage of it enough, eventually you try it. Or they go, why the fuck is this guy still in my feed? And then, uninterested in channel, they loudly leave comment about. And then I go, okay, sure. Is this still the Sharp Rain Hell Fort? Yes. This is like day 4 or 5 of this fort? I think it might be 5. Sharp Rain and sharp frame rate. Okay, so you down there. Igor Ogre here. Install that. For this. Also, this additional millstone is a limestone millstone. All craft ship is of the highest quality. It is encrusted with emerald cut morions and emerald cut bloodstones and encircled with bands of cushioned limestone cabochons. Also have a Farquad throwing another tantrum. It is encrusted with single cut banded agates and reindeer bone. On the item is an image of the blowing scribe, an adamantine pick. On the item is an image of a tapered cut baguette cut gem in Morion, which is pretty cool. The blowing scribe is an interesting name for that pick, though. You only want tortilla in your feed? I don't know, man. We all have priorities, and some people, their priority is tortilla. Some people, their priority is pita, and in my case, my priority is sourdough and or rye, whichever one I can get my hands on in higher quantities first. As we slowly continue coming up here. Do I want to? No, I don't. Fuck it. Let's do this the right way. I've been, like, avoiding doing this the right way, but I'm just gonna do this the right way. Just gonna put 2 pumps up here real quick. That's for me to know and you not to find out. If you're just gonna be asking about Stinker constantly, I'm just going to ignore it. But probably not. There's quite a few babies in this fortress. Artisan? Are they saying that the art is in? But what if the art is out? What if the art needs fresh air? But that's the rye bread I make too. I've tried that already. Clem? There doesn't need to be a war. You could just like what you like and eat what you eat and just not like what you don't like and don't eat what you don't eat. I mean, I personally think that like half of the things that people consider bread in 2026 shouldn't be considered bread. Wonder Bread is a fucking cake. You can't change my mind. Shit's a fucking cake, guys. Like, that ain't bread. We just agree on that? Instead of finding things to argue about, can we find things that we agree on? Oh. This is a deadly spittle eyeless chinchilla twisted into humanoid form. It has a gaunt appearance and its blue hair is patchy. It means it runs the anime club. And it's beware its deadly spittle. That seems bad. We're gonna wait until these ads that we're running are down. Okay, they're done. Sweet. Let's fight with this forgotten beast that I forgot existed, that I presumed was dead. Unless Esmil here can get it, who's a legendary in a lot of combats, and is completely stuck in a corner, but somehow still winning the fight. The beast is bleeding very heavily. In fact, it got hit with a bolt in the head, which fractured its skull. Several, in fact. It is continuing to bleed as the dwarf goes, oh god, actually, hold on, 1 second, just 2 minutes, I just gotta run back. Gord was found dead. Sorry, Gord. Apparently this is an axe dwarf, doesn't look like it, though. Okay, here comes the actual military. We're about to find another dwarf dead, I think. And the beast falls very quickly. Got a House of the Dragon ad? You know what's very powerful form of advertising? Filthy Mike, is telling people what you're seeing ads for, because not everybody sees the same ads. You are giving them additional free advertising without them paying for it. So this isn't helpful to the quest of fuck the ads, which I currently am still a happy, consistent member of. So if your goal is to minimize the amount of view that the ad gets, which generally I think, the worst thing that you could do is type it into my chat so that I read it out loud. Now, if you said, unnamed show about crazy lady who had dragons, we'd know what you're talking about, but I wouldn't say the name of it out loud. Hey, chat, you know what this stream is sponsored by? Crypt mugs. You could use the Better Twitch or, I think Better Twitch, or FFZ emote, Vile Mugged, to mug yourself. Or beer yourself. You could also buy this mug on my merch store. That's all. I like complaining about ads too. Complaining about ads is fun, but don't say specifically the brand of ad that you like. If you see an ad for tissues of a certain brand, you could say a different brand name to fuck with them. Maybe. I don't know. Oh, I'm well aware of this, Tumbleweed. I'm very well aware of this. The only thing that works consistently is creators is explicitly, even sarcastically, which is a fascinating subject. Oh yeah, no, I know. I mean, this is something I'm not sponsored by. Yo, these 8-bit dough controllers are pretty good. And I'm only saying this so I can write it off on my taxes. But also, it's a different color than this, but my green screen's trying to make it disappear. It's not working. These are nice controllers, and this was $29. I've been playing Tetris Effect with it. It's pretty great. I'm eating an Oscar Mayer hot dog. Only if you're eating an Oscar Mayer hot dog while watching the Oscar Mayer Weenie 500 on your second monitor. Theirs cost you 80 CAD for the same controller? What? Is Tetris Effect retro gaming? Sorry, I should have specified which Tetris I've been playing. And also, not really. I don't really consider anything on PC retro. I mean, unless you... I mean, I've played some old modded PC games, but... You've never heard of that game? It came out in, like, 2015. Actually, probably later than that, actually. It came out after the Epic Game Store was out, because it was initially an Epic exclusive. Tetris Effect released on Steam in... 2021. Which I want to say was like 2 or 3 years after it was released on the Epic Game Store. Me? I'm not sponsored by crypto, excuse me. I don't even own any crypto. I was going to queue something up and I can't remember what it was. Oh well. Gerd, you. Oh, right. Coffins. Rock coffins, please. Was recently released at the same time featuring Hall Effect sticks. Right. That's the unifying point. Auto play on any platform is weird as fuck. There's a setting in Steam to turn it off. I just haven't done it. So that is mostly on me. Just use whatever's closest. I wonder. I'm actually just genuinely curious if it would be considered powered. Because if so, then I can turn it on and turn it off, which would be interesting. I'm just going to throw that in there to see if that's powered, because I'm actually curious. And then you are getting a mechanism placed in you. These will get done pretty quickly. I'm sure many people would if they had bought it back when it was just a few pennies. I mean, I paid my rent for 3 months with Bitcoin once upon a time. Because I spent like $300 on Bitcoin when it was like a couple... Oh, wow, it is powered. Okay, that's neat. When it was like a couple $100. And then... oh boy. And then the price kind of skyrocketed up to about $1,700 around at the time that my ex lost her job and I wasn't working very much and was streaming full time. So we were short on money and I sold it for like $4 grand or so that I could pay for rent. I feel like everybody knows the story of somebody who bought pizza with Bitcoin. Anyway, the only crypto in this chat is crypto, my emote. That's all I have to say. You're welcome. Do with that information what you will. I don't know, you can use it too. There's an H in it. It's more of a crypto. Oh! Less of a crypto. You know what I'm saying? Okay, so dwarves have had no restrictions for a bit. I'm gonna put the restrictions back on. Thank you. Great. Another forgotten beast named Rawala has come. It is a enormous Dimetrodon with external ribs. It has a twisting, jointed trunk and a gaunt appearance. Its slate gray scales are small and set far apart. Beware its poison chompers. I'm gonna pause for a sec. Connect that to this. That's forbidden. Perfect. Where's this beast at? This is, in fact, in the layer where it can get to us. It's the smeared dourness. Okay, your dourness. Let's see if we can get there in time. I don't have a cryptgasm. I do have a crypto, though. I've never really wanted any kind of gasm emote. One of those, like... I feel like there's other ways to have a same emote without just doing the same thing everybody else does. I don't really have any weeby emotes where that would work. I kind of tried it once with the skeleton emotes, but it just didn't work. It just looked stupid. So we just kind of got rid of it after a while. I do really, really hope that the dinosaur update comes with a update for Forgotten Beast. Also, those external ribs look kind of gnarly. It's because of the color pattern on its back. Yuck. Tolkien. Ew, gross. That's all I got for that. I mean, in order to use my emotes regardless, you'd have to subscribe to twitch.tv/blindrill. Filthy. Which, clearly, you're too busy paying for Twitch Prime to do that. Clearly. Why would I give you hypergasms? Gasm these emotes. Blah. That's all I got. Also, investments are open if anybody actually cares. I can't actually tell if people appreciate the fact that I don't have any corporate sponsors or not. I was going to make it into a D's Nuts joke, and then I side-turned, and it didn't work. I mean, somebody's gotta. I miss when Twitch Prime gave you ad-free viewing. For the good days. And then they were like, but we've added extra value in the video games that nobody uses. Like, sure you have. Makes them more viable. I do have an unannounced thing that is coming that I have a contract for that I need to read. That isn't a sponsorship. That will do a similar thing. I can't say more than that. But that won't be announced for a bit. I mean, not to be rude, Keeps works, but you need to have a bit of a bigger following before you start getting people asking to pay you to do shit. But I do respect the getting ahead of it. You suspect? I mean, if you're pro-corporate, then you're probably more pro-corporate than me. Like, if you would describe yourself as that, period, then... I don't know. My way of thinking is it's more sustainable to make $5 off of each off of 1,000 people than it is to make $5,000 off of one company, because if the one company decides to just, like, change their policy and not market through you, then suddenly your income is gone. Whereas, like, if there's, you know, a massive recession or like a corporate shift and like 30% of your audience can't afford it anymore, that's still more sustainable. I know there is definitely nuance to the topic. I'll put it this way. I am anti-monopoly, but corporations are not inherently a bad thing, but monopolies are. And a lot of corporations are often both. Okay, here we go. Green Leaf, Mickey 8 charges in first. Bolts fly as well. Blood immediately spills. Beast already can't breathe. Green Leaf's combat is scratches it, punches it, screams, this is my fight too. This might require an answer. It might. He also whacks it in the head with his shield, which chips the skull. Strikes it in the body with his shield, which bruises the right lung. But now it can't breathe, or is having trouble breathing. And strikes it with his shield in the lower body, bruising the guts. Can you tell me what you mean by suspicious big companies? You don't need to say who it was, but I'm curious as to what you consider to be a suspicious big company. You mean Kelshi, I would agree with you. But like, if you mean like, I don't know. More bolts flying. shield bashers like this are very ineffective at actually killing, but they are very effective at like pinning down and stun locking, which is why we all are great miscellaneous object users. Like, because shields are considered a miscellaneous object, so dwarves are all gaining very rapid skills in miscellaneous object use. I need to make some more shields. Steel shields. 10. How do you train that up? So they're using shields as weapons. Because they're using shields as weapons, whenever they're in combat, they're training miscellaneous object. Oop, the miner has bestowed the name Ergafash Zunskordren upon a steel shield. I would have named it Billy, but, you know, whatever works for that dwarf, I guess. Also, an unrelated miner is throwing a tantrum. Billy Bob Shields. You know? Okay, I'm also going to lock the dwarves inside. But something else I'm going to do is I'm going to go to here. And I'm going to call this layer Burrow Cavern Layer 1. So now it's on. Do named weapons have their stats jump up to legendary? They're considered an artifact. Because the reason they name weapons is because Tarn thought it would be really annoying to have a squad of dwarves and then have one just like run away from their squadly duties to go make an artifact. So instead of doing that, they just name an item. So it gains the accuracy bonuses that artifacts have. Also, Lanix, hello. How goes exploring the caverns? Nobody's died in too great numbers yet. Just in semi-great numbers. Is there invasions? Yes. Have I been invaded? Like 40 minutes ago. Although it was just a small siege of child snatchers with some mounts. Nothing crazy. Well, this is kind of interesting. It's like flicking on and off with power because of the water being drained out by the pumps. It's kind of funny, actually. Actually, no, don't do that. I am going to do, though. Because I'm going to go along here and deconstruct these. Is why I'm doing all of this. Remove construction. Will there be a stream tomorrow? No, there will not be a stream tomorrow. And I don't currently have plans to stream on Saturday because I'm planning to stream a bunch extra when the next update drops. And I don't quite know just yet how much time that's going to take, if that makes any sense. Come on, dwarves. You can do this. There you go, that's 2 done. Now I get 3 done. That one we can probably just leave. I'm going to be streaming extra time next week. I haven't made a Future of the Fortress video for the month yet. Like I said, I've got an unannounced project that I'm working on, and there's a patch coming next week, so this is going to be a very heavy behind-the-scenes work weekend for me. Let's see if they can actually do this. Come on. Come on, Dwarf. I have some faith in your ability to complete this. Otherwise, I'll just dig around and say fuck it. There you go. Now we're talking about the thing and the stuff. That's plenty. Don't know what you're doing, aside from probably learning to swim. Well, this dwarf is dizzy. At least not in combat with the bricks. Dizzy, winded, dizzy, winded, dizzy, winded. This is how you become a legendary swimmer, though. There you go. You made it. Okay, now that you've made it, quote unquote, I can grab you, go to you, and click this. You just set up your lunchbox emulator and your game bundles, arcade, MS-DOS, SNES. I have such a problem with setups like that. Like, they're cool on paper, but I've installed them before where it's like, I have 1 billion games installed, and I find that, like, the result is I just don't play any of them. Like, I don't know if I'm the norm, but I do kind of feel like whenever every game is available for whatever reason, I just... Like that, very few things give me that level of analysis paralysis. Or like decision paralysis in general. But that does. I mean, I get choice paralysis from my fucking Steam library, let alone, like... let alone the rest of that stuff. I think it's just these two. But at the same time, I'm just going to fill this in, so let's just fill this in. Usually have them in separate places. Totally. I have an emulator installed and it has 1 game in it. I have SSX Tricky, which I make sure always runs, and that's all I care about. Also, this is probably a very long time ago, so they're probably not still here because the YouTube chat's pretty quiet, but I scrolled up in the YouTube chat a bit and I see, hello, I have a deer corpse in your fortress. How do I give it to my butcher shop and for its meat and skin? If it's mangled, you can't. So normally it would just be automated if it's available. Otherwise, you need it in a corpse pile close to your workshop, or you need a butcher shop close to that deer corpse. So distance doesn't really matter. We can just leave that for right now. I'm clearing up this. And the rest of that can become bedrooms. This over here needs a similar blockage once it's shallow enough. But I'll probably do this closer to over here. Misters? I ain't got that kind of money. At least I ain't willing to put that kind of money into that kind of tech, I guess. Okay, what's on the map at the minute? Misters are neat tech, though. They are. EF mangling does not make sense? What? You do know that if you destroy internal organs of a lot of animals, it spoils the meat, right? Like, if a creature is mangled, you can't butcher it until it's completely rotted, and then you can get the bones from it. Makes sense to me. So I don't agree that it doesn't make sense. Like, unless you want to impact or like give specific mechanics where only something that doesn't hit any organs as part of it dying can be butchered, then okay, but Too Tall Dad, thank you very much for the 5-pack of gift subs. Jack, can I get a round of beers? Appreciate you. You have to wait for it to decompose, yeah. And even then, sometimes it's too, like, discombobulated, powdered, tenderized, destroyed. Be able to even do that. I've had hunters who tried to hunt in the game and failed with their bow, but wrestled. Okay, well, if you're using a bow, you've already failed. Like, of course they're going to fail with the bow. It's a dwarf we're talking about. All I'm saying is that hunting in Dwarf Fortress works just fine. It's just a matter of knowing how to set it up. And it's not straightforward like anything else in Dwarf Fort. But it does work just fine. Exactly. Now you get it. Just some platypus. Be wanting to start a new world? Same, kind of. But, like, generally the way my brain works, and this is also just me being an idiot, having played too much of this video game, I'm aware of this, whenever I read, like, this needs this because RimWorld does it, my knee-jerk response is to push back because RimWorld is such a different game that I don't, like, half of the charm of this game, for me personally, is the fact that the dwarves just do whatever the fuck sometimes. Like, if they didn't do whatever the fuck sometimes, then this game would be significantly less interesting. I'm gonna beat the ever-living shit out of this goblin. Please go kill him. I don't want him in my prison anymore. A gremlin! Wow, that's interesting. Where, though? Oh, there it is. A lot of gremlins in this world. Where do you think you're going? Then install the Mario Brothers mod. Next thing to say. Probably Jody. I mean, the dwarves being misbehaving little fucks is like half the entertainment value of this game as far as I'm concerned. Masterpiece char biscuits. Cool. Uh-oh. A Webby McBeast, the Forgotten Beast for Fire has come. a gigantic eyeless earwig. It has an enormous shell and it undulates rhythmically. Its eucalyptus exoskeleton is warty. Beware its webs. Okay, cool. Well, that's good. Let's turn that off. Lock this door, and let's catch it. Unless it's not on this level, in which case then that's awkward. But I presume it is. There it is. Crevice dust! That is where dust gets, yes? Are very utilitarian. Any recommendations for starting to make a pretty fortress bogus one? Play in the caverns exclusively. Oh no! Run, kiddo! Good, he ran. If you play in the caverns and like force yourself to build in the stalactites, then you end up like use the space that's available, basically. Or like in a tall mountain or something where you have to build in cliff faces. Because if you do that, then you will end up forcing yourself into areas that are inconvenient and like less regimented. That's what I would recommend. Or do what, you know, Curses said. Or if you build a lot of squares, this is just kind of a pro tip in general. Even if you build very square fortresses, do this. Because to me, this, oopsies, would help if I grab the right tool. This, with little corners like this, looks a lot better than this, with corners that do this. Like this is just gonna look less interesting than this in almost all cases. I love how they always insist on going through this door first. Kind of funny, actually. I should have just closed this gate, but I don't have a lever on it yet. I find the paintbrush to be a little bit fiddly, but maybe that's just me. Monkey, monkey, monk. Can you tame a forgotten beast? No. They are not tameable. The only creatures that are trainable or tameable are creatures that can make babies, and forgotten beasts can't. It's like asking if you could tame a Balrog. I mean, didn't work for Gandalf, so. Spoiler. Oh no! Snape kills Dumbledore. To Sauron than Gandalf? I don't relate to Sauron in the slightest. And I only have one functional eye. I think this is like you just projecting here. Maybe Saruman. But even then, not really. Not for me. There they go. That was easy. Piece of cake. Dwarfus. Actually, let's leave this one locked. And I'm just going to go down here and make a butcher shop. See if we can butcher this. And also, I'm going to go up to here. Get these 3 squads training. training. Just leave this forbidden for the time being. Butcher it. Have you ever heard of the term role-playing before, Tumbleweed? Because sometimes it's fun to be the bad guy, and sometimes it's fun to be the good guy, and sometimes switching sides is also fun. I think blanketing one person as evil because they decided to play a themed fort once that was evil because chat wouldn't shut the hell up about trying to do that specific thing is generalizing. Oh, well then, how are you talking? You're a freaking tumbleweed. In that case. Monom, the crafts dwarf, withdraws from society. You should be making, like, sounds and as you roll across the ground instead of yapping at me about how I'm evil apparently. And I rest my case. Complicated? No, it's not. It's literal. You didn't allow me this privilege. I'm not allowing you this privilege. You're a bundle of sticks with no brain. How dare you accuse me of being Sauron? Damn it. I'm more of a Bilbo. Like, you know, guy with a substance abuse problem. The substance is bits. Get bundled, sticks. Exactly what YouTube chat says. See, they get it. Where was I going with this whole thing? Right, butcher. I don't know if I want to sing as much in public as Tom Bombadil, because that seems very obnoxious. Like, actually. Like, super obnoxious. And I am rejecting that statement wholeheartedly, Tumbleweed. Because Quendelf exists. Like, wholeheartedly, I reject your statement. I'm saying Twitch chat is often wrong most of the time. And I disagree with what you have to say. And I think that you are off base and incorrect. Most of the time. What else do you want from me? This joke has become awkward. Awkward indeed. I mean, you started it. If you want things to be read as a joke, you should, like, indicate that it's a joke. You didn't really indicate that it was a joke. You're just making blanket statements. You want to make a joke? Make a joke. But if you make blanket statements, I probably will push back. There we go. It's like riding a bike. I'm sure you'll be fine, Swarm. There's a YouTube chat? That's news to me. Hmm? Oh, no, absolutely. Sorry, if I'm being too dry and you think I'm being entirely serious about everything I'm saying, that's on me. I'm not evil. But sometimes I play evil forts. There's a bit of nuance there. I'm not actually offended, I swear. You come at me and tell me that I'm evil. Okay, counterpoint. Just because I did an evil thing once and won fort years ago doesn't mean that's how I play every fort. I mean, heck, I don't go to war with elves most of the time. And now you're calling me autistic. That's cool. That's not polite. Now you're just being mean. I can see why you were once a part of this community. I'm going to state that you're not funny. I don't like your humor. And I wish that you would stop now. End of discussion. You want to do a victory lap? By all means. I think you're just kind of a dick. That hurts. You're the one who called me autistic. Because they're boring to fight, Space Pants, and I like what they sell me more than fighting with them. Because I'd rather buy a bunch of giant bears than fight with elves that aren't much of a threat. Anyways, everything about this sucks. I'm sorry that I've ruined your day. But if you can't understand nuance and not insulting people for no real due cause, I can't help you, man. But you're not really helping yourself much. I don't like you. Another Forgotten Beast has arrived, though. A towering humanoid composed of amber. It has wings and a gaunt appearance. Beware its deadly spit. This one I don't think can get to me. No. Calling a human being autistic is generally considered an insult. Last I checked, I'm a human being. Last I checked. Yeah, you can ally with elven factions. You can send messengers and request an alliance. It's all trend in YouTube chat. I think I stated like 5 minutes ago plus that I don't want to talk with you about this anymore. What started off as friendly ribbing has become me directly telling you to drop it. And if you don't fucking figure that out in the next 2 sentences, you're gonna stop talking for the rest of the stream. Who gave you a sub? If you check your notifications on Twitch, it'll probably tell you. Apology accepted. Now move along. Next topic. Are my veggies growing? Pretty terrible, actually. Although I kind of knew that was going to happen. Because my tomatoes took forever to get going here. And so when I transplanted them, all but one of them died. My peppers are doing a bit better. I had 2 failed transplants, but that's fine because I had 7 of them and I didn't need that many. Well, as I said, apology accepted. Nothing pissed me off except for you calling me autistic. For full clarity here, that is the only thing that you said that actually upset me. Everything else, I was just friendly ribbing. But if you call me autistic, we ain't friends. If you apologize, I'll forgive you. I have. But do not do that if you want to be on good terms with me, period. Oh. Apps. You suck at growing vegetables? Apparently I do this year. I think it's the actual issue was I was using old seeds. No. No, you can get an anvil. Well, I mean, if you have a pickaxe, you don't need an anvil. And if you have an anvil, you don't need a pickaxe. But you can get both pickaxes and anvils from the first trade caravan. So nothing is actually needed for embark. You can embark with 0 things, period, and make it to the first trade caravan pretty easily. Hardest embark you ever did was you didn't take any wood or axes? That's how you learned that you got wood out of the wagon? Can you still chop down trees with training axes? I haven't tried in a very long time. I know that at least at one point you could. Yeah, that sounds about right. What do they do? Training axes were a thing for very early days in the game when training was considered a lethal fighting stance. So dwarves could theoretically take lethal damage while training. And so training weapons existed so that they wouldn't take lethal damage. And then they added non-lethal damage and training weapons became completely moot. Well, I mean, you get 3 logs from your wagon, which is enough to build a trading depot. Saltrin. There's plenty of tutorials on my YouTube channel, yes. But you have enough materials to build a wagon, even if you bring nothing. Or not a wagon. You have enough materials to build a trade depot if you bring nothing. Also, Tumbleweed, if you are still here, no hard feelings, dude. Seriously. But, like, please don't do that. You want to troll? Go ahead. You want to rib? Go ahead. Don't insult me. I can handle a heckler, but I can't handle direct insults. Build 3 day beds and a trade depot out of stone. I mean, it's hard to get stone without a pickaxe. I'm saying if you embark with literally nothing. Like, literally nothing. Although, hold on, actually. Yeah, okay, so you could make wooden blocks. 1 into wooden blocks, you could make 2 beds. And then still have 1 block left over. The thing is, there's certain things that can land if you know a person. You don't know me. I don't know you. You're not in the room with me. I'm not talking to you. I'm talking to emote. And text. Oh. So Dord has a kid. And Dord's kid is just like running around because Dord's in prison. And Phelps, Dord's husband, is being a very not great dad. Most of the people I'm talking to are on Twitch. They're Ginger. In YouTube chat. Episode of Batman New Adventures. Two people who have dwarfism, with one is plot relevant and the other is just there. And well, it turns out both characters are voice actors at dwarfism. Oh, that's neat. I've never watched a Batman New Adventures and don't know what that is, but beardless dwarf, assuming you want one that isn't pissed off. How about Lemuel? Marksdorf. This is the one that got arrested for espionage, though. Or do you have, or would you like a less combat dwarf? Wolfie? Yeah, I'm flopping back and forth between two chats. It's kind of a lot sometimes. Surgeon. So generally I end up prioritizing the Twitch chat because it's busier. Don't mind, okay. Cave Hope. So, a lot of good names in the last few forts. Does not feel the slightest need to pay back any favors done for her, no matter how major the help or how much she needed it. She is extremely confident in situations requiring her skills, and she is made deeply uncomfortable by differences in culture or appearance. She is very happy and optimistic, and she is not particularly interested in what others think of her. She likes a little excitement now and then, and doesn't try to get things done perfectly. She is slow to anger, and she can easily fall in love or develop positive feelings. She can handle stress, and she needs alcohol to get through the working day and doesn't really care about anything anymore. She personally sees competition as reasonably important, sees life as unfair, and doesn't mind it that way, and doesn't care one way or another about leisure time. She likes alunite, gold, and black opal, as well as apricot wood, and giant pond turtle shell hemp fabric, long fin mako shark parchment, the color ivory, high boots, and figurines and chains and llamas for their long necks, and capybaras for their resonant barking. And the words of the page of crystal and the sound of the droplet of berries, and prefers to consume turnip plants and artichoke wine. Absolutely hates worms. Worships the god of fortresses, Datan Durin, and of course is a member of the New Dirt and the religion, the Turquoise Fellowship. Welcome to the fort. Trying to figure out what I want to do with these rivers. That's currently what I'm trying to figure out. You know what would be neat? Putting a drain right here. Piping it down and off the map. Putting a bridge over top of it, maybe? Putting in grates to catch all of the stuff that falls. Trying to think what else I could do that would be interesting with that. I'm open to ideas, chat. And then I could pump water into it or into this from over there somewhere. Potentially. Because that is the other thing I need to figure out with this for is what else should I automate? I could also expand these routes. I mean, this area down here is just getting a little barren. Aquarium? Need to make glass for that. Got 36 steel. What are we currently wielding? Need more shields. Need some greaves. Steel, shield, steel, greaves. I mean, building an alternative drainage for a river wouldn't really be an aquarium, but that would let me wall this off. I'm glad I got a laugh out of somebody, J-Switch, who comments on their wife laughing about the fact that I couldn't breed dragons because they were gay, which is still possibly the most Dwarf Fortress thing that could happen. An ad break just started. I need to use the washroom. Sorry about the bad vibes today. I'm not doing the best job I've done in my life. That's on me, not on chat. I'm gonna go wash my face, take a piss, not necessarily in that order, and then I will be right back. Don't go anywhere unless you already have or want to. I'll be back in like a minute. What? Is there a room on the surface for a huge fountain? I don't know if there's a room in my frame rate for a huge fountain, but I wouldn't mind making a fountain type thing in the fortress. Could redirect the whole waterfall. You know what? That would be fun. Why don't we redirect a waterfall? Well, hopefully the job interview goes well. Best of luck, dude. Water's not very effective at sealing off entrances. It's more of a, I'm doing this because it's fancy, not really like a practicality thing. Hi, new here. I'm streamer. I stream Dwarfort. Do I expect major changes? I don't know what to expect, but there's a lot of unknowns, so who knows? I'm gonna redirect that waterfall. That's what I'm gonna. Chat, can I get a round of beers for Tumbleweed? Good luck on that interview. The Crafts Dwarf has created Aro Shiidshon, I chirp, a Singero figurine of Stritheful Zephyr of Mists. That's a Minotaur. A very famous one, in fact. And I'm going to put it on a pedestal in one of my temples. Where are you? Where did I put my craft store shops? They're there. Make me some totems, please. The dragon breeding experiment was extremely worth it because the video got like 100,000 views in 3 days. So it was 100% worth it. Was it worth it for the fort? Oh, absolutely. It completely automated all the defenses of all my caverns and most of the surface threats. So, no, it was completely worth it. Or did it not being worth it? Where did you get the it not being worth it thing? Unless you found the video boring, in which case I guess then it's not worth it, but I would say it was entirely worth it. YouTube chat is accusing me of deciding that the dragon experiment wasn't worth it. No, it was 100% was. It took forever, but it was worth it. It's good to be back, frankly. Besides, now I can say that I successfully invaded hell with an army of dragons. Completely worth it. More like how long it took. I mean, streaming this video game is my full-time job. The streams generally did pretty well. Chat enjoyed it. So no, it was entirely worth it. At least I think chat enjoyed it. Chat, did you secretly hate that fortress? I will not be heartbroken if you say yes, but I will be a little bit surprised. I don't like this route that they're taking here. Punch Elves, thanks very much for checking a subscription at Genji, or Gunji. Gunji? Kento Gunji. Appreciate you, man. There were dragons. There wasn't dragons. There was, in fact, dragons. I mean, it was a lot of, like, waiting for them to, like, make babies. And then raising them. But we also used them to invade the goblins. I didn't show much of that in the video because it's not interesting, but... Now that fortress is sitting tall with a population of 10,000. Also, it was only like 35 years I spent in that fort. I've spent longer in forts that made less progress. Like, much longer in forts that made less interesting of a show. Probably. Have I tried? Not really. Random cat? The thing is, if you're trying to weaponize something for defense, you need to realize that, like, the bad guys have ranged weapons and can just run up to the fortifications and shoot them, so... you can trap non-cageable things in cage traps if there's webs on the cage traps. So if you're trying to, like, catch forgotten beasts, they're pretty useful. I mean, they already do kind of come back with war stories. The war stories are just not all that interesting. The information could be formatted in ways to make it more interesting than it is right now. Can the new dragons you made invade other forts? I mean, they haven't attacked me yet. I presume so. I honestly, I don't have a concrete answer for you, Wolfie. What I do know is that you should post a couple more beers for the gift sub from Punch Elves. Or, yeah. But, you're totally addicted to Vintage Story. It's funny how many people have commented that, even though I didn't stream that game that much. But I'm happy to help, I guess. What's the word that I was looking for here? What I do know is that the dragons would invade me, meaning my own fort, while they were off map. Same with the rocks. They did that as well, and the hydras. Like, or not the hydras, but the rocks did. So if I sent the rocks off map as part of a siege, same with the dragons, to go attack the goblins, there was a pretty good chance I would get a pop-up saying I was under attack by a dragon or a rock, and it would be one of mine, and they would re-enter the map and instantly leave the map again, and then go back to the siege that they were taking part in, because that's what they were supposed to be doing. Which was weird. So that happened. So that would lead me to assume that they probably can, but I haven't been attacked by any. I think cage traps would need to work very differently. Like, a couple pretty fundamental things would need to change about the game's mechanics for me to actually get killed by my own dragons. Because, like, I put in way too many safeguards. Some more migrants have arrived. Child was fighting with some Drothlas. That's maybe great. I go to this burrow and just say, child. Actually, I go to this burrow. Now let's wait until these migrants are in. I'm gonna remove the children from the caverns though. Swords dwarf. Talented engineer. Neat. It does, but I will reiterate something that I said a lot during the Dragon Fortress, which is that is not something I've ever done before at that scale. I have no idea. Maybe, maybe not. They're tame. I don't know. Not really. I have one that's inside of the fortress and one that's in the caverns. And then the one that's in the caverns, I was going to remove the children from it, so they stopped fighting with Drothlas. There we go. Cheers, Moon Sugar Plum. Why are we mooning sugar plums? Actually, I feel like I need to ask this. This seems like an important clarification that needs to be made. I know that, like, new fortresses can, or not new fortresses, new small towns and hillixes can appear during that time. I don't know. I don't know. A veteran dwarf is entertaining the whole tavern with his stories of bashing the goblin Lushar's blasted tongue in the skull with his silver warhammer artifact. Good stuff. Good stuff. A+. Let's just nuke this wall. And also most of this wall. Just trying to give these dwarves more direct routes that are more varied from place to place. It's probably just good for maneuverability anyway. It's likely I'm just kind of misunderstanding what they're saying on shelves. Like, without me just stating that I've made, like, 3 weeks worth of YouTube money from that one video in, like, 5 days. All I'll say is that, it was worth the time to make that fortress. I wonder. I need these stockpiles right now because I'm not really making more fish, so I should be able to shut off this now because I'm not fishing at the minute. I can turn off fish-related tasks. Yeah, I used to always describe legends like numbers in the Bible. Just maybe a bad description. He'll be back later if you're still on leaving work. Cheers. Yeah, I'll be on until, what, almost 2 now? I'll be on until 5 today. Because at 5, I have to go pick something up from in town. Shenanigans are afoot. Taller than a dwarf. I realize this is not the most straightforward routing, but I also don't really. Pacific time. I always forget that Eastern time exists. Although it's going to be confusing starting fall because my province no longer does daylight savings, which is actually making me wonder what I should do with my schedule come daylight savings. I might just like obviously not change my personal clocks and just change my schedule from my time zone being or earlier or normal time. I don't personally care all that much but when I start my stream. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to wait for this to all drain out. And then I'm going to channel this out and put a bridge over it. Actually, I might just put the bridge over it before it's all channeled out. And then I'm going to channel down into this once the bridge is up and all that. And then I'm going to dam off maybe like right here and see how high up I can dam. Probably try and dam all the way up to like around here or something. let the water flow in. But once it's full from the waterfall, open this up. I could use this as power. I could use this as any number of things, actually. In fact, why don't I strip all the way along there? Goes up a little bit. Because I do think that this will be really interesting, potentially. I have no idea what the state of US time savings is, but no, it was like, I don't know, 3 months ago or something. It was around, or whenever the last time change was, BC was like, this is the last time, or at least our premiere was like, this is the last time. And what's funny is my mom hasn't changed the clocks yet because she genuinely doesn't believe that we're not going to do the time change again. She's like, oh no, I don't believe that. Like, I don't believe that for a second, which I think is really funny. So like the clock in her car is now the wrong time for the time change because she assumes it's going to go back, which I think is really funny, personally. Why is it always a William Stone? But Arizona and Hawaii have never done it. So I would have to be at war with that faction. Although, Random Cat, I will say this. We were able to figure out that war-trained dragons don't breathe fire during sieges, which, if I did go to war with my own with my old faction, which I haven't decided if I want to yet or not, if I did, I'm not positive that they would breathe fire. They might. They probably would act as building destroyers, but I don't think they would breathe fire. And they dig up to here. I'm wondering if they're going to cancel a bunch of these. They might. Nope, cool. I do still have that setting enabled. I'm not, you know, I almost don't want to respond to that. Because that's not even why daylight savings was enacted in the first place. It wasn't for farmers. Anyways, I digress. I will say this. I'm just tired of thinking about daylight savings, worrying about it, being concerned about it. Having to change clocks in a world where electric lights exist and, like, it just fucks with animals more than anything. It fucks with me. And I don't even have to commute. Bubbles! And wait, hold on. Do I have 2 Family Wars? I do! Well, that's fun. The Family Noir made it over. Happy to help. Mad Vice. Or Mad Vice? Without you noticing, and siege you with 2 ambushes, and you had no trap or siege defense, but your 2 squads in full steel fended them off. Hell yeah! It's felt like several decades for my province. Beanie nerd. Which part? You change the clocks twice a year. So, Celtren in YouTube chat says, I'm sorry if I'm out of loop. What's the deal with daylight savings time? Is this what is daylight savings time? Or is this, what's the deal with, like, what's the question, I guess? I need a bit more of a broad question. Give you an answer, otherwise I might answer the wrong. So I do have a craft dwarf skill that they want me to make now. Which I'll put back there. As I understand it, it was started. You change the clocks twice a year, or twice a year, so that it like gets dark earlier in the day, and you have light earlier in the day. It was started in World War II, as I understand it, so that it was harder to bomb people. And then it was kept around as an excuse for farmers, but like didn't actually pose any benefit at that point. It was just something people were used to doing. And since then, it's just been people not agreeing. Forgotten Beast, Snun, has come. An enormous eyeless warthog. It has 2 narrow tails, and it appears to be emaciated. Its pumpkin hair is patchy. Beware its deadly blood. In Dwarf Fort, make sure that needs are covered. Like, my general advice is, like, just make sure that you have a place for them to pray to a god, a place for them to socialize, and a place for them to do some sort of crafting or training or learning. So, like, at like a guild hall, a tavern, a dining hall, a bedroom, and give them a new item once in a while. Like, that's actually all of the mood management that you need in Dwarf Fort. What does this thing do? Deadly blood, okay. Just like dust, except it has to get onto you to do damage. Snun. It's like a snooty nun. Or like sun with a stutter. It's a snun. You feel very lost at times? Focus on one mechanic at a time, Van Phoenix. Like, pick a mechanic and stick to it. Don't try to do everything at once. You're in Pacific time and you go up and down. We're next to a time zone in Arizona where they don't bother. You were just wondering why you worry about it? Why do I worry about it? Okay, I live in a province now that no longer worries about it. Why did I worry about it? Because it would fuck up my sleep for a week. Why am I worried about it? I'm not, but I'm trying to like mentally figure out, now that I live somewhere that doesn't do that anymore, if I should change my stream schedule to align with it for the majority of the world. For the majority of the remaining Western world, or should I just move by an hour? I'm not worried about it. I didn't like it. I'm happy I don't have to deal with it anymore. But why am I worried? It's literally just a scheduling. Worried is like maybe an exaggeration even. It's just something that I'm like passively thinking about at the minute. I haven't made a decision on yet. That I probably should make a decision on before next round of daylight saving. So I have all of summer. Plenty of time. I'm only giving someone an item when they hold office. Is that the only way? No, if you make clothes, like what are you asking? I mean, you can't give items to anybody except for nobles. Only nobles can be given items. So I'm not sure what you're asking, I guess. Like mood management. I gave you my general advice on mood management. If you're talking about giving items to dwarves just claim items that they need when they're available. So if you make, say, silk trousers, and you make 10 pairs of those dwarves, if they need a new pair of trousers, they'll just go claim them, or they have a chance to claim them when they're hauling them. So if you make crafts, same thing. But they won't do it unprompted for no reason. You need to prompt them to make the stuff, and then they'll go claim it. Knickknacks, jewelry, yeah. Amulets, crowns, rings. Pants. It's also, if a dwarf has a yellow need, that's not critical. You don't actually have to worry about yellow needs. You do have to worry about red needs, if you care about that dwarf. Because if they have a red need, that's when it starts to massively impact them. Be brave. Game. Ulan. Ulan for this world. And before you're already in a squad. Ha! You are. That's interesting. So, Muncholf? MVNCHOH. I have no idea how to pronounce that. If you're in an ad, you can't respond to this, but if you're not, you can just say you're not in an ad. But I have other thoughts on this subject as well, for when the ads are done. I'm just currently waiting for the ads to end. Waiting as patiently as I can, I guess. Correct, Dave Danger the Warlock. So in regards to acquiring objects, if you read a lot of dwarves' descriptions, you'll notice some patterns. One of those things is they just leave things strewn about without a care. The other is they have no care for material goods. And then another one is very greedy. If a dwarf is very greedy, it is virtually impossible to satisfy the acquire object thing. They will just constantly have it. If a dwarf doesn't care for material goods, you may also not be able to cure it if they get that need, because they don't care if they acquire something, so they won't get a positive thought from it. If a dwarf is very greedy, you could probably satisfy that by giving them an extremely valuable item or just making sure that extremely valuable items are available. But you need to remember that if you think about dwarves like people, this makes a little bit more sense. And I know some people find this stuff frustrating, but if you think about it this way, I am not a satisfied person. I am not happy all of the time. There's always things, wants, and needs that just exist in my mind. I can satisfy some of them in reality, but I can't satisfy all of them. And if you think about dwarves like that, it makes a little bit more sense why certain personality types just won't be happy. Some dwarves are just broken, and I think that's one of the things I really like about the design of the personalities in this game and what makes them believable to me. Is that some, like many of them will be, it's possible to make them satisfied. Like a dwarf that's focused is a dwarf that has met more or less all of their personal requirements. But you don't generally see dwarves that are focused. Sometimes I will have a fort where just about every dwarf in the fort really wants martial training. You know what I do when I end up in that situation? I literally take the entire fortress and put every single dwarf into a military squad with no weapons assigned and just tell them to go wrestle for like a month. And that usually satisfies that need. Also, a child is throwing a tantrum. All right, Edtor, who is your parents? No! It's synthetic cat girl and... Oh, boy. Tough, actually. Don't want to expel dwarves that are named. That might be annoying to deal with. I'm also going to make the fortress a library, because that is something that we do need. So I'm going to go here. I'm going to go rock bookcase. And I'm going to make these out of malachite. Make 6 of them. Going to do iron table, iron throne. And I'm out of lignite. Well, that's not good. That's my charcoal. I require lignite. Rose quartz, not lignite, but that's all lignite. Sorry to old Wolfie here, but we're gonna cut through the back of your bedroom to get more coal. Santa needs to be satisfied with his supply. Also, a dwarf's been missing for a week. That's fun. I guess that beast finally decided to attack us? They finally dealt with it. Good, good. Weird. Wonder where that corpse ended up. We'll find out soon, I'm sure. Well, it didn't drown. That's good. We've also named another shield. You finally made a fort with a river without flooding your fort? That's very high skill ceiling Dwarf Fortress gameplay. I would just like you to know. Congratulations, you might as well be an absolute expert. A pro, even, if you will. Can I? Okay, I can't. That's a bit disappointing. This is something I am going to do, though. It is time for us to make a cave-in. Let's make all of these out of the same material. Let's do salt. So if I do want to go around this, I could. Yeah, I mean, but that, you know, that's how you end up with all those fun stories of like the childlike psychopaths, right? The kiddo psychopaths are always a tale that gets giggles out of Dwarf Fortress. Here's the thing that you need to remember. RimWorld is a significantly harder game than Dwarf Fortress, asterisk. RimWorld is intentionally mean to the player regardless of the difficulty you play on, regardless of the storyteller you use. The way RimWorld is designed is it's designed to give you progressively growing challenges with time. Dwarf Fortress, on the other hand, people who figure out the basic game loops of Dwarf Fortress, who settle somewhere cautious, often come to me asking, like, when does the thing happen? Like, when does the difficulty happen? You kind of have to seek out the difficulty in Dwarf Fortress or intentionally settle somewhere where things are going to be hard or difficult. Dwarf Fortress on its surface is a very daunting game because it gives you all of the tools to play with immediately because it's a sandbox. And it's a very deep game. There's a lot of mechanics to learn, but the actual difficulty of this game is significantly less than something like RimWorld. So just remember that. And if you play RimWorld, you've already learned to play a game that is harder, difficulty-wise, than Dwarf. So if you've done that, you're past halfway there already. Whose skeletons are those? These are all river otters. Yes, river otters. I actually thought one of them was a carp, but no. How do I have the number on the water? So up here, there's a bunch of little buttons. One of them is R, which gives you ramp indicators. Then the other one is F, which gives you number indicators. Which does make them quite a bit clearer. Okay, so because I don't currently have any coal, I need a wood furnace. So, like, as an example, RimWorld is a game that punishes you very, very, very heavily for losing, like, a colonist or two. And you don't generally, unless you play the game, I would almost say abnormally, have very large colonies. In Dwarf Fortress, I could lose 80% of my dwarves and most likely recover. This game is very forgiving, and dwarves are a lot more resilient than people will tell you. If you're brand new, I wouldn't recommend playing on an Untamed Wilds or Terrifying map. But outside of that, as long as you're not getting 15 full screen warnings up at the top left of the screen when you try to embark, like, there's a tower nearby, you might be attacked very early, or this is a heavy aquifer, the game is very approachable. And is generally pretty forgiving when it comes to just being mean. So, the hardest part about learning Dwarf Fortress, in my opinion, and chat can throw out their own takes as well, is just simply learning what the game wants you to do a thing, and where the button is. And sometimes Dwarf Fortress doesn't communicate information very clearly, which is, I think, maybe its biggest issue. What? Excuse me. There we go. I mean, I've said before, it's kind of like the difference between playing Minecraft or playing Rust. You know, they're both like buildy survival crafting games, but one of them's just mean. Like, sure, Minecraft can be mean, but like, that's not the baseline expectation. Or like playing StarCraft or Civilization. You know, like Civilization, you can just kind of get up and walk away for 4 hours and you're not going to leave, and you're not going to lose in 3 minutes. Because I know it's a turn-based game, but you know what maybe you know what I'm trying to say. Maybe you don't. It's not versus. It's mostly somebody who, so Kirill in YouTube chat, someone in Twitch chat asked, or said that they're trying to get into Dwarf Fortress or are fascinated by this game, but are feeling daunted. and they stated that they had some experience playing RimWorld, so I'm just simply kind of stating that if you've played RimWorld, you probably can play Dwarf Fortress. You'll probably be fine. That's all that I'm trying to say here. That's it. Pretty straightforward. Yeah, but that's a modded... Okay, so, meanwhile, YouTube chatter. Modded version of Minecraft is mean. Well, so is the Long Night, but not many people here are playing the Long Night mod for Dwarf Fort, I don't think. Again, here's the thing. That's almost bad data, Momia's Wolfie. I would agree with you like 5 years ago. Maybe even more, maybe even just as much 10 years ago. But as a brand new player, if you've never played Dwarf Fortress before, you click Gather Fruit. You go to the... Don't do that on this map, because this map, it rains like mucus that makes you bleed. You click and drag for an area like this. And you click that button, and you never need to farm. Period. So I don't agree that plump helmets being cookable is like this noob trap, because you don't need plump helmets. Like literally, I've run forts with populations of 250 with a harvest zone this big on a, like, not untamed evil murder map, and it's fine. There's a zone for that? Yeah! It's called Gather Fruit. You click and drag. This one, the only reason I say unselect this one is because this also will gather fruit that's in trees, which if you only have, like, one stepladder in your fortress, can cause dwarves to get, like, stuck in trees. So you need to make like 40 step ladders if you're going to use that option. But that'll get you even more. Well, variety is a reason to farm. There is a version for the current... there is a version of the Long Night for the current version of Dwarf Fortress, but it doesn't have a tile set. Because it's a complete retheme of the game, so it'd need a fully custom tile set, and I don't think that the person who maintains it's an artist. Well, not that kind of artist, anyway. Not a visual artist, a programming artist, if you will. Oh, interesting. What happened to you? Diagnosed with malodorous filth sickness. Well, that's fun. With beast sickness. Oh! I've got 2 dwarves in a coma, chat. Oh, that's fun. Interesting. Yeah, I mean, the only way that I've managed to safely harvest fruit from trees is by using stairs and building stairs into the trees. I'm not joking. Actually, why don't I just do it this way? And then if I go here and just go limestone. There we go. I'm going to cave this in to punch a hole down in here that's going to drain into here. And these need to be connected to a lever. Need to be unforbidden. You need to be smooth. All the things. Are we back? I'm pretty much ready to, like, throw in the towel and give up. Why can't I just win today? Why? I don't even know what happened. I just lost connection. My internet didn't drop, but I lost connection to Twitch and YouTube. Like, OBS just gave up. YouTube folks, are you still there? Or did you guys also disappear? No, I know. It looked like the stream ended. Yeah, it fucking did. I'm so pissed off. Yeah, because Twitch actually has disconnect protection. YouTube really doesn't. And if it claims that it does, its disconnect protection is nowhere near as, like, how do I put this, useful. And then it's like, oh, well, you ended the stream, so we're gonna delete your VOD, split it in half, and now you have to schedule a new stream and then remake it. I think I'm done with streaming to YouTube for today. YouTube has disconnect protection, but it has a 30-second window to connect. After the 30 seconds, it just stops connecting. I mean, Twitch also didn't properly use its disconnect protection, which is why my view count is now at, well, okay, it went back up, but no, I'm at 105 viewers now. I was at 160. Chat, I'm done for the day. I'm gonna spend the rest of today troubleshooting and try to figure out what the fuck's going on. I know I said I wouldn't stream on Saturday. I might stream on Saturday to make up for this. But I'm just... it's none of your guys' fault. I need to figure out what the fuck's wrong with my computer. I'm sorry. Let's go find somebody we can raid, hey? So grab your favorite raid emotes and plop them in the chat. And I'll go send you guys to somebody cool. Yeah. Go grab the raid music. Yeah, it's nobody in particular's fault. Thank you very much, everybody, for tuning in today. Actually, genuine question for those of you here right now. Would you prefer a stream tomorrow or on Saturday? Like, if you were to pick one, what would you prefer? Yeah, it would be the usual time. All right, we'll do a stream on Saturday. We'll do a stream on Saturday to make up for this. And I'm going to go fuck with OBS for a bit and just mess around in my, like, OS and see if I can figure out a solution to whatever the fuck the problem is. You're at work on Fridays and usually miss most of the stream? Gotcha. Yeah, I can do that. Apologies for the bad vibes today. I feel like the vibes have been really weird the last two streams, at least on my perspective, but I do hope that you guys enjoyed the stream today, and I'm going to go do off-stream diagnostics. Good news is, it's Jess. Hubbity bubbity. All right, so I will do a stream on Saturday to make up for this. I will try and be productive for the remainder of today. And yeah, that's basically it. I do have a cool thing coming up that I'm looking forward to announcing, but I can't announce yet. So I will let you know when. Well, obviously I'll announce it when it's announceable. But it's going to be a neat summer. That's all I can say. Looking forward to next week. Take care of yourselves, chat. And this is a rat. I'm going to shake it. I'm rating Jess. She's playing Satisfactory. She's lovely. Go be nice to Jess. Go say nice things to Jess. And it's going to be I mean, I ain't resting. It's going to be a work day for the rest of the day. I'm going to spend the next few hours doing diagnostics and trying to figure out what the hell happening. That's what I'm going to do. So thanks for sticking through, chat. But today has kind of been nonstop technical weirdness. I mean, OBS crashed, and that disconnect, normally I would do the whole I'm going to turn this stream around thing, but it's okay. We're fine. Thanks for hanging out, chat. Take care of yourselves. See you on the flip.